Honestly, after what I went through this morning trying to find a cube thing so that I could plug my charger for my camera in, I spent like almost an hour looking for that. I need this drink. Gosh, I love hot chocolate. Especially how I make them. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie. Here we talk about books, fashion, pretty much anything I feel like talking about at the moment. And today we are going to have a book talk discussion on The Christmas Tree Farm, part of the Dream Harbor series by Laurie Gilmore. Yay! And just to note, this is actually I keep doing this. This is the third book of the series. I believe there are 6 books total. I was on debate on whether or not I should talk about this book first or if I should talk about the second book, which was The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. But being that it is snowing in New York today and I'm like all cozied in my apartment today making this video along with the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore coming soon, so I thought maybe I should talk about this one first because I think it's very fitting. And for today's drink, we're actually having hot cocoa. This is also why I kind of wanted to talk about this book first, because I was really craving hot chocolate this morning. So this is hot cocoa. I get the hot cocoa from Target. I get the peppermint hot chocolate, which is so yummy, and from Good and Gather collection. And I also made my own whipping cream, but because of how long I took to look for my charger thing, the whipping cream kind of just turned into a liquid because I make my own whipping cream at home. I don't use the, So, and I had sprinkles. I had like peppermint pieces and sprinkles on it, and it just kind of all went somewhere. Let's see, it's at the bottom. Yeah, it's at the bottom. So I also added a nice little twist in the drink because this book is a little adult, more adult than I thought it would be. The series as a whole is more adult than I thought it would be. And I thought I'd add a little twist. I have some Smirnoff vodka in here, but it's the peppermint one. It was like for the season, and I was like, ooh, I want that because I really love peppermint in my stuff anyway. So I added a little bit of that. So if I start giggling or anything like that, that might be the reason why. It tastes really good. Yum. Anyways, let's sit back, have a drink with me, and let's talk about the book. Also, for today's outfit, I had such a hard time figuring out what to wear because, like, when it comes down to, like, Christmas time, 1, I don't really have enough winter outfits, and 2, I mostly dress in black or dark colors mostly, so I whipped up this flannel that I got during the summer. I thrifted it, so this was, like, $10, and it's a size medium, so pretty cool. Turtleneck, and it's like for necklace, I guess because we're in the holiday spirit, I just put on this one because it's a star, and I had black sweatpants on just because I am on the floor recording this, so I kind of wanted to be like as cozy as I possibly could be. But in order to add to like the festive vibe, I have on like socks. I have like these green socks that I found when I was putting up my Christmas tree. So I think I had these socks for like a year and I didn't put them on. And I know that Kira, our main female character of the book, she's like cold a lot of the time for like, I think half the book or something because of where she lives at the moment, at like in the beginning of the book. Okay. First things first, let's talk about the book description that is on the Kindle. I am reading this entire series through here. I don't have the physical copies of the book. I wish I did, but I think I'm gonna wait until the final book comes out next year for me to have the whole collection. And I'm hoping I could get the sprayed edges version or hardcover or something cool like that. That would be really fun to add to my bookshelf because even though I don't have room at the moment for that series, I am planning on getting another bookshelf. The Christmas Tree Farm, a grumpy sunshine viral TikTok sensation rom-com for fans of winter cozy mysteries and spicy romances in 2025. Dream Harbor, Book 3. Alright, from the #1 New York Times best-selling author of The Pumpkin Spice Cafe comes a #1 Sunday Times best-selling grumpy/sunshine Christmas rom-com. A charming break from reality, written by Publishers Weekly. Every book in Dream Harbor series can be read as a standalone. Kira North hates Christmas, which is unfortunate since she just bought a Christmas tree farm in a town that's too cute for its own good. So true. Bennett Ellis is on vacation in Dream Harbor, trying to take a break from both his life and his constant desire to fix things. But somehow fate finds Ben trapped by a blanket of snow at Kira's farm, and despite her grinchiest first impressions, with the glow of the fairy lights twinkling in the trees and the promise of warming hot chocolate, maybe, just maybe, these two souls will have a Christmas they'll remember forever. The Christmas Tree Farm is a spicy, romantic mystery with HEA guaranteed, perfect to curl up with this winter. The tropes. Grumpy/sunshine, small town, forced proximity, and one bed, which was really good to read. And this is the book cover on my Kindle. As usual, I will have the colorized version somewhere on this section. Really, really cute. There's a dog in the middle, so that's pretty awesome. Bennett has like 3 dogs, so I really wish they had all of them, unless I'm not seeing them here, but they only have this one, and that dog is used to be one of my favorite dogs. That's basically the book description. So basically we're following, if you have read the first book and the second book, there are like mentions of Kira and Bennett, so I was really excited to read this book because I read it from Pumpkin Spice Cafe, Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, and now the Christmas Tree Farm. I was like so obsessed with trying to like learn about Bennett, because Bennett was like brought up, I believe, in both books whenever they talk with Jeannie and stuff, and they're like wondering when he's coming, is he coming, or he would be on the phone with Jeannie or something like that, and I'm just like, okay, but when am I going to get his story? I know he's coming, because if they're bringing him up this many times, he has to show up sometime, right? So finally I got to this book and I was like, yes, I got Bennett and I got Kira, which is a woman who is not from Dream Harbor. She moved from Georgia, which she didn't really want people knowing about because she, I guess she was ashamed, or at least I think that's what it was saying in the book, that she just wasn't really, she didn't really vibe with her own character in that sense. Like, she has a Georgia accent that she apparently would hide, which in part I understand, because I have a lisp when I speak, and I try so hard to hide that, and I've taken classes and I've had speech, and it's just speech for the stage. I had speech therapy, and I'm like trying to and I had braces for like over 6 years, which is part of why I have a lisp in the first place. So I try very hard to hide that. I forget if the book mentions why she tried so hard to hide the fact that she has a Georgia accent and that she's from Georgia, but because it's been a while since I read this book already. I think it's been like a month now, so I don't remember if they mention why she hides that. But yeah, she comes from Georgia and she buys this Christmas Tree Farm because she just wanted a fresh start. She wanted to prove to herself and to others, I suppose, that she can do things on her own, that she doesn't need her family's money or anything like that to like guide her. So that's Kira. She's very much independent woman, I could do this myself kind of woman. She doesn't really like to ask for help, because I also believe she's the oldest out of like 2. She has a sister. So I understand that completely. Me personally, I get that, because I am the oldest child of 3. I have 2 brothers who we're not far apart in age, but being that I am still the oldest, there were certain expectations of me that needed to be met. And so I guess with like growing up, eventually I just kind of felt like it was hard for me to ask for help. Even to this day, I have some sort of difficulty with that. So when I read that about Kira, I was like, oh, okay, I kind of get you, girl. It's okay. I get it. I totally understand. And then we meet Bennett. He's this, I suppose, sunshiny guy, but his job was like tech. And he was also kind of a little grumpy too, if I remember right, in his own way, because he was telling his sister, Jeannie, how like, I'm here to work. I ain't here to on vacation. I'm not here to chill out with y'all. Why are y'all trying to drag me into whatever's going on in this town? So He's a tech guy who comes from, I forget where Gina was from, was it Boston? I don't know. But then he moves to Cali for a very specific reason that he didn't want to tell his family about. Not even his sister knew until way later, and one of my lights died out. I gotta turn that on. Semi-grumpy. He wasn't as grumpy as Logan was in the pumpkin spice latte book, but he had his own fair share of like grumpiness, I suppose. But compared to Kira, I feel like he was like, he's more on the Mr. Fix-It. Bennett was more of a Mr. Fix-It kind of guy. He liked to fix people's problems, especially when it came down to his relationships. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm probably not going to say more about that, but they both had their fair share of like issues. Yeah, Kira was giving like very independent woman vibes, and Bennett was like, I want to fix all your problems kind of guy. Like, I want to make sure that you're good, everything's good. And it starts off first with like this furnace issue or heating issue that Kira had. Like, her apartment was horribly cold. So that's basically who Kira and Bennett are in the series. I was really excited to read about them. And as far as like pages is concerned, my Kindle says that it is 369 pages with a 7 hour and 23 minute read time. I believe I actually went through this particular book probably within 3 days. It couldn't have been more than a week, I know that for sure, but I feel like with this book I read it in like 3 days because I was like so into it, and I may have been reading it over a weekend. So it was a really fun book, and I was really happy to read it, especially given the vibes. I finished this book before December 1st, so it's still fall, and I guess technically it is still fall. It's not December 21st yet. Overall, I do rate this book probably 3.7 out of 5. This is not like my number one favorite out of the series so far. My number one favorite in the series so far is the second book between Hazel and Noah. I had a lot of fun with their story, but this is actually a very close second, and that's because I relate to Kira very well. And me personally, I would love to have a guy who could just fix everything. But also, my thing is that I would love somebody who can build stuff. I don't think Bennett could build, or maybe he could. I don't remember too much about that. But he is able to fix things, which was really cool. If I remember right, he fixed her furnace, and he fixed a couple of other things in the house that she was dealing with. And yeah, it was a really cozy Christmassy book. So if you are looking for a book to read this holiday season, I definitely do recommend picking this up. The spice level, if I remember correctly, was like 4 level or maybe 3 level. It is definitely up there. I feel like there's not as much of it, or maybe there was. Again, I haven't read this book in like a month, so I'm pretty sure there was some spice, but again, I preferred the spice that was in the second book over this book. Still pretty cool to read, and I feel like this was also a slow burn. In the close proximity, it happens at Kira's house due to a snowstorm. So if that's your vibe, definitely pick this up. I also have some highlights, so actually let me grab that right now. Because there were parts of the book that I did highlight. Oh, I tasted the vodka a little bit there. Whew. Or at least I feel the warmth of it. Let's see what my highlights were. The first one was actually more in the beginning of the book. It's on page 19 on my Kindle. The rest of the meeting went by in a blur of logistics, volunteering, arguing, and a very odd vote about whether or not Die Hard was a Christmas movie. I highlighted this because I was actually just talking about this yesterday with my brother when I went over to my mom's house. Apparently there's some sort of thing about whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie or not. I have to watch the movie again because I'm not sure if it takes place on Christmas Day or did it release on Christmas. I don't know what's the deal with this, but this is like an actual like conversation people have, and I thought it was very funny. Let's see. There's actually a few things that I highlighted. Okay. Oh, I like this one a lot. I'm going to skip the one that I highlighted before this. So this one was on chapter 18, page 208 out of 352 in my Kindle. And it's like one line. I'm going to spend the rest of the day taking care of you. I grew a little weak to my knees on that line. This is something that Bennett had said to Kira. I believe that they were at her house when this happened. But this was definitely during like the spicy Yeah. Yeah, this was one of the spicy chapters of the book, so I really love that line because I'm like, okay, Bennett, do your thing, you know, do what you gotta do to take care of Kira. You go. You go. So I thought that was really nice. And I mean, I feel like that's what all of us need to hear at some point in life, that the person that we're with, or the person that we like, the person that we're seeing, would love to take care of us for a day. Especially, yeah, in every way possible. Let's see. Okay, another one was a spicy line too. I can't read all this. Oh my gosh, I can't. This is too much. There's too much. A lot of the lines that I actually highlighted. Wow, okay. Okay, so I think I like this book a lot more than I thought I did, because the highlights that I have here. This one was funny. This one was on chapter 23, page 275. How do you tell someone that their brother is a gentleman on the streets and a beast between the sheets? She was pretty confident that there was no polite way to do it. If I go in closer, I feel like this is... Yeah, so Kira is with Jeannie and Hazel, and this is what's in her head at the moment. Like, it's true that, how do you say that? Like, how, like, maybe you just don't say it? I don't know. Let's see. Gosh, like, this is very spicy, guys. I can't. I usually don't highlight that many spicy things because I'm more into plots and like stories, but I had to be on something here. This was in chapter 25, page 297 out of 352 on my Kindle. The lies we tell ourselves are often stronger than the truth. They worm their way into our hearts and our minds until they are all we see, all we believe. That resonated a lot to me for some reason. I thought it was a pretty deep line, because then it follows up with, and Kira has been telling herself a lot lately that. So, the main one being that she was not in love with Bennett. Yeah, but she was. We all knew she was. We already knew this was going to happen. But that was another one that I highlighted. I thought it was pretty deep, and apparently this had like 4,000 highlights, so I'm not the only one who thought something of it. So... yeah, that was pretty deep. But the rest of it is pretty dirty, so I don't want to say all of the highlights. I don't want to ruin the book for you guys. So, that's my highlights of the book so far. I rate this probably like a 3.7 out of 5, again, because I preferred the second book over this one. And I don't really read seasonal themed books, especially Christmas ones. I remember last year and the year before, I think I tried to read like Christmas books, and it just wasn't my thing. Maybe I just picked the wrong ones. I remember there was one that had a different form of writing in terms of like language and how they speak. They don't speak in American English. I think it was more like British English or something. Like, I don't know. I remember reading one, and Fairy Tale in New York. That was the one. Fairy Tale in New York. I remember reading that, and I thought it was going to be super nice to read, but the main character wasn't from New York. In fact, I don't think she was from the States at all, so it was kind of hard for my head to focus, which I have that problem with a lot of my books. The only book that I feel like I was able to read that might have had a different way of speaking was Never Let Me Go. That book, I feel like I was able to read. I know I finished the book, but I don't think it took place here in the States. So, 3.7 out of 5. The spice level was good. It was great. The forced proximity was fantastic. It's just like me and Christmas books have such a hard time getting along like that, to the point where I could rate something 4 out of 5 and above. So 3.7 out of 5 for sure. I think I'm going to wrap up here because there isn't anything else I really want to talk about this book without spoiling it for you guys. Obviously, I think you guys are aware that the people that they talk about in each book somehow end up together. At least that's what I'm getting so far. So I hope I didn't spoil that for you guys. But I don't want to spoil the journey of like Kira and Bennett because I had a lot of fun reading them. Also, for right now, since I am up to book 4 of the series, it will be a while before I get to that book because I'm currently reading the sequel of Better Than the Movies, which is Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter, which I'm really excited to read. I'm already halfway through it, so I can't wait to finish that up so I can talk about it with you guys, because it's like so So yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, a wonderful afternoon, and a fantastic evening. I will catch you guys in the next video.